Hello Algebra 1 students, this is lesson 23 and our objective is how do you solve two-step equations. And it's kind of in our objective to solve two-step equations you have to take two steps. Okay, so we're going to kind of do a couple things in order to solve, and if it ends up being 3 or 4 steps, that's okay too. Just if you go the fastest way will be 2 steps. So our basic idea to solve these type of equations is to first of all isolate all of our terms on one side that have variables or that have letters in them. So if I'm looking at this one here, this one has an R in it, so I want to get this one by itself on this side of the equation, on this side of the equal sign, and everything that doesn't have a letter in it on the other side. So let's see, right now we have a 6R plus 12. So we're going to do opposite operations. We're going to subtract 12. But in order to keep it equal, we have to do the same thing to both sides. Minus 12 on both sides. So we're going to have 6R plus 0 is equal to 30. But of course, 6R plus 0 is the same thing as 6R. It's equal to 30. That also looks like an equation we've done before. We have 6 times r, so the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So to divide by 6, r is equal to 5. Okay, let's try another one here. Same idea. I'm trying to get everything with a variable, so this q, on this side by itself and everything without to the other side. So notice this one has to be on the right, doesn't have to be on the left or right, but let's just, since it's already over here, let's keep it that way. So then I'm going to want to subtract 8, because notice this was saying plus 8, so the opposite of plus 8 is minus 8. And what you do to one side, you must also do to the other. So let's combine those. So this is going to give me negative 4q plus 0. 32 minus 8 would be 30 minus 6, so 24. And then of course it would be the same thing as saying 24 is equal to negative 4q, because if you add 0 to negative 4q, you're just going to get negative 4q. And then again, these are multiplying. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide. So I'm going to divide this side by negative 4. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. So it's negative 4's become 1, and on the right hand side I'm left with just a q. On the left hand side, dividing that by 4, I end up with a negative 6, because positive divided by negative is negative. Normally I write that variable first, so I'd say q is negative 6. And my answer for that. Alright, one more example here. This is like example 4. Same basic principle, except for now we have fractions, so just remember our skills and practice our skills there in fractions. So same idea, this has an x in it, so I'm going to keep this here, and everything without an x, namely this one, I want to get to the other side. So since this is subtracting a negative 1/4, I am going to add 1/4. If I add 1/4 over here, I must also add 1/4 over here. So the left hand side is not too bad. I have 2/5 x plus 0, so I don't have to really write that. On the right hand side, let's do a little bit of work here. I have 3/10 plus 1/4. I need to think of a number that both 10 and 4 go into, preferably the smallest one, the least common multiple. So 10 goes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, etc. 4, I think the smallest one is going to be 20. So least common multiple is going to be 20. So multiply this right one by 5 over 5, because 4 times 5 gives me 20. And over here, I'm going to multiply this by 2 over 2, because 2 times 10 is 20. So, multiplying that out, 2 times 3 is 6 over 10, 6 over 20, plus 5 over 20. 6 over 20 plus 5 over 20 is going to equal to 11 over 20. So that's what I'll write in right here. Now let's learn a little trick when we're working with fractions. If we remember our reciprocal property here, if I have, let's say 3/7, and I multiply it by its reciprocal, 7 over 3, that's going to equal 21 over 21, which comes out to just simply be 1. It's a really horrible 1, but you got the idea. Let's try another one here. 2/5 times 5 over 2. It's going to be 10 over 10, which is just equal to 1. So we notice if we multiply by the reciprocal, we get 1. And that's actually kind of what we were going for. So this number up here, I want to multiply by 5 over 2. And I multiply the right hand side by 5 over 2 as well. And on the left hand side, then I'm going to get 10 over 10 times x. On the right hand side, I'm going to reduce here. This is 5 goes into that 1 time, 5 goes into that 4 times. 11 over 8. But of course, this 10 over 10 is just simply 1. So left hand side is x is equal to 11 over 8. Or if you wanted, you could say that would be 1 3/8. Either one of those would be completely appropriate. And that brings us into our lesson. Feel free to watch it again if you feel the need. Your assignment is up on the board. Good luck.